Hello again, my friends, and I hope you're having a fantastic day. If you're having problems finding me, I'm way down here at the bottom. Hi. I've decided that I want you to see most of this text, and it was too tiny for me if I did it any other way. This is a message from Rob Kuntz, who is one of the original creators of D&D. This is in response to the makings of the original D&D, a book the Wizards of the Coast has put out for the 50th anniversary of D&D. Now, within that book, while they have a whole lot of historical documentation, original letters, original essays, and maps and stuff like that, they also included a foreword. And in this foreword, they basically did everything they could to run down the original creators and make them sound like horrible people. Even going so far as to say that there weren't any women in original D&D, and when they were depicted in a negative light or disrespectfully. Just right there telling me that whoever wrote this either never read or played anything regarding D&D, or they're just viewing things through their own very off lens. Let's see what Rob had to say. You know, I have to take a break from posting. The whole attack upon old TSR has really tripped my trigger. A 50th year celebration, and this is it. Of the original D&D authors and its supplements, Gary, Dave, Jim Ward, and Brian Bloom are gone. And that leaves me alone as the last man standing, the last author. It really is a burden watching this slanderous episode unfold. And it was done without one bat of the eyelash. A Wizards of the Coast fait accompli. Done in such an assumptive manner as if they wield the holy articles on morality, which they enact with their reprehensible judge, jury, and executioner demeanor. They are probably wincing and wondering, us, the saints of truth? More like snakes. Anyone who would wait until the majority of authors who created the game were gone to stick it to them in this manner is a vile snake. And just to complete the deed, to do it on the 50th, show their admirers who's in charge, show them who is in control of the IP. They fear those times they had no hand in creating. And they especially fear Gary Gygax. His name sends shivers up and down their crooked spines. And if it wasn't enough to have hounded him in life, let's do a Houdini and trample on his grave. Disgusting slime. But it's not just Gary or Dave and us others. It's also about wanting to wipe out that success and claim it as their own. And in order to do that, the fandom must be attacked as well as that history. All of it must be purged and never again allowed to exist. These people are the epitome of evil robber barons parading as the good guys. Sleight of hand bullshit from gold hobbled. We fought these establishment pukes back in the mid-70s as they gathered about a fledgling TSR to bring it down. Now it's the second round. Roblar may be a little aged, but he's not dead yet. You may have made a permanent enemy of many, you stupid coastal wizards. Let's see how many real magic cards you hold besides illusory ones. For this battle, neither sought after nor wanted by me and others, is just the beginning. You'll get sick of hearing my name soon enough. It's spelled Kuntz. Repost this as I'm taking a few days off. Peace to the brothers. And I can totally feel that. The idea of spending your life, or even just a large section of your life, building something, a business from the ground up with love and care and nurturing it and growing it, fighting off other battles, and only to years later be told that what you did meant nothing and you were disgusting, hateful people who wanted only to drag others down and were nothing but cruel, and your words were only those of hate, that your works were problematic because they didn't fully embrace the correct ways of thought, especially to watch somebody do it when your friends are gone and they can't defend themselves on an anniversary that marks 100 years after your creation. You definitely feel the pain in these words. There are so many people who had something to do with D&D, and just those few names. I mean, that's the small original group. There were so many others that had a hand deeply in D&D. Larry Elmore is an artist who did so much work for D&D. Margaret Weiss, not only did she write books with Tracy Hickman, but they both participated in games with Gygax and others to help them write those books. They fought to be able to write those books. Because of those books, a number of women authors managed to rise to the top of the pile. And to ignore that because in some depictions, a woman might not be put in the best light is ridiculous. It's depressing. Another text I wanted to show from Kevin Lamb. He says, color me shocked that a Dragonlance character somehow squeaked by unscathed in the new player handbook artwork. 3 physical fit, white, heterosexual heroes looking badass against a genuine threat. Someone at Wizards of the Coast is definitely getting fired for letting this slip through. And Margaret Weiss says, I'm astonished. And I believe we saw this image the other day when I was looking through for pictures of original D&D art to show you. I believe that's Rastalin Caramon. I'm not sure who that is. But obviously they're fighting a dragon. This is the stuff people want to see when they're looking at D&D. Now I'm pretty sure that other one in the back's a woman. So why would you make those kinds of claims? How can you look at the art of D&D and say that women weren't important in D&D? Now they also talk about in the foreword, because I did read it, I'm just not showing it. But I will put a link to pictures of it that I found somebody else had. I probably should just read it, but I'm being weird, don't mind me. But they talk about how some of the statements in there would be harmful physically and emotionally to people with disabilities and that are overweight and women and it was a long, really dumb list of people who would be actually harmed by the things in this book. But we're going to leave it in anyway because it's important for the history. It's like putting that before Gone with the Wind. It's like the fact that Disney won't even let people see Song of the South anymore, and they got rid of the Briar Rabbit ride. These things exist, and they happened, and they aren't nearly as bad as you think they are. People can be very sensitive, but people can be very strong. The more you hide these things from people, the weaker they get. This fellow, Secrets of Blackmoore, who is doing a D&D film or about to release a D&D film, had what appeared to be a response that Rob liked quite a bit, and I can understand why, because it really echoes the way that I feel. And he says, I imagine it is hard to sit back and watch what you are your own life events, spending time with Gary, Dave, and everyone else who was there. A singular time as the creation of a phenomenon was happening before your eyes, and somehow you were a part of it. But now the recollection of these events is put into the hands of corporate mouthpieces who can only think of one thing, which is to denigrate the great minds that brought the hobby into existence out of nothing. The arrogance of it all, like when Jason Tondro is in the teaser video about the new history book and claims he is the one person who should be in charge of such a project. Then Tondro goes on to talk about how the history of D&D is full of things which their sensitive readers will find offensive, without making a single mention about how profound the content within the pages of the book is. How do they make sense of it? Their entire business is built on the ingenuity of other people. They haven't a single original thought in their head. Yet they fling insult at the people who created our entire hobby and are effectively writing the paychecks for these same smug egos at Wizards of the Coast. All of these designers should feel ashamed for how they are smearing all the real innovators. Hello, Merles, Crawford. Is this really how you feel about the people who you built your careers off of? I wasn't there, and I do not get it either. It makes me feel rage as well. And there's just so much anger to be had. And I guess at this point it's past anger, because obviously being mad at it isn't going to fix anything. There is nothing that can really be done at this point in time. There is a profound sense of sadness, and I do kind of mourn for poor Rob, who has to watch as these people destroy his and his friends' legacy, smear them in the eyes of other people, belittle their work, when their work is literally what gave these people so much success. I have to wonder why they sold the property. I'm sure that information's probably out there somewhere, but D&D was quite an interesting beginning, and it turned into something that touched probably hundreds of thousands, if not, I'd say probably safely hundreds of thousands. I don't know if it would have been millions yet. I'm not sure there are that many tabletop nerds in the world, but maybe there are. I could be wrong. But it's one of those depressing things in the world, when someone is part of something that becomes great. If you live long enough, you will see it fall. It's just like if you live long enough, you'll see yourself become the enemy. But, for me, at my age, it's just another one of those things from my childhood that other people have taken and looked at, and for whatever reason turned into something negative, decided that what it was meant something that was never there, because I don't know why. I don't know why they feel this way. I don't know why they feel there has to be so much evil and anger in things that they didn't understand. And maybe it's just because they didn't understand. And they still don't understand. And now they're making money off of not understanding. Now they're making money off of, as I've seen both Rob and Secrets of Blackmoore say, reverse engineering it into something that's no longer as fun. At least not for me. I know there are people out there who are going to enjoy it, but for me, a lot of times I think that's because they don't know better. There are a lot of thoughts I could go into from this that overlap into a number of different realms. These kinds of things often get me thinking about the interconnectivity of society and child rearing and how we treat children and how they grow up because of how we treat them. But this is supposed to be a games channel, not a philosophy channel. So I will... maybe someday we'll get into that, not today. I hope whatever letter he sends, he posts, because I would very much like to see that. And I hope that there's some way that I could support it as well. Because I do feel like this is something... I swear I liked this. Because I feel like this is something that deserves support. It won't change anything in the end. What's done is done. But it might send a message. Maybe. Sometimes you do things just to do them, though. All that said, I have one announcement. I will be out of town from the 3rd of July to the 8th of July. Because of that, I will be pre-recording some videos. They will more than likely be reviews of various, or previews, I should say, of various indie game trailers, and I'm going to try to put in a couple of indie tabletop games. If you know somebody who has an indie tabletop or something like that, have them send me some kind of preview or something. I'll be more than glad to look it over and put a video out for it. Maybe get them some more attention. I appreciate everything that everybody does. I love the comments. I do read most of them, and I try to react, and I really should respond to more, but sometimes I just don't know how to respond. But Thursday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, I will be playing some Dragon Age on stream here on this channel. Please stop by and let's chat and have some fun with a fun old game that I love. And then on Saturday, I will be playing Neverwinter Nights on my Horror Amarada channel with my friends, assuming nobody cancels. And then Sunday, we are playing some 3.5 D&D with my friendly DM, and again, just a small group of friends. We are no Critical Role. There will be mistakes and a bunch of other stuff, but it should be fun. We've been enjoying ourselves. We haven't quite ramped up yet, but I think this is only the 6th or 7th? 6th. The 6th session that we've done together. So that should be entertaining. Stop by. Again, that's my Horror Amarada channel. I will be on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, Kick. I think that's all of them. And it's Horror Amarada everywhere, except for Rumble, where it's Horror Amarada Gaming. But you can see that all down below. Talk to me down in the comments. What do you think about this? What do you think about this letter? Does it make you feel the same way I do? Thank you, as always. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. If you really liked it, you can feel free to share it around, and I will catch you later.